So let's start. I would like to warmly welcome you all to our event, ELISA Communities at BME. We are really happy to see you all here in this beautiful central building of BME and also in front of the online space. Hello everyone, I don't know where you can see me from. Before we jump right into the middle of our event, we would really like to get to know you a little bit. Unfortunately, we don't have the chance to get to know you one by one, so I would like to kindly ask you to raise your hands if you are a bachelor student. Okay, we have quite a lot of bachelor students here. Okay, but do we have master students here? Please raise your hands. Okay, they have also arrived here. Great. Do we have lecturers here in our room? Okay, be brave, colleagues, please be brave. All right, quite a lot of you, so nice to see you. Do you have international students here? Wow, it's really worth talking in English then. I'm really happy. Okay, and since today is a special day, I will also ask whether we have students who have taken part in the Students' Scientific Conference. Please, hands up. Congratulations to you guys. Okay, we are also really interested in how you feel yourself. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, but now that I see our lovely audience, I can say that I am quite relaxed now. But how are you feeling yourself, and what is your motivation for today to come to this event? We would like to ask you to go to slido.com. I will share you the exact code that you will need for that. 1 second, please. Okay. Okay. Here. And please, so go to slido.com and please type in the code 2285217. Okay, you can also do it in front of your laptop, so please grab your cell phones, type in the code, and answer our first question. How are you feeling now? Okay, and the answers are arriving. We really appreciate your honesty. Some of you reflect back my own feelings. It's so nice to see. Okay. So, as I can see, you are quite, how do you say, excited, happy. Some of you are even super happy. It's really nice to see. And for those who feel either tired or frustrated or disappointed, or I don't really know what this last icon is, I hope that at the end of this event you will be super happy as well. We will try to do our best to help you in this. Okay, our next question, oh my God, and the answers are still arriving, great. Our next question is, what is your motivation to be here in this event? Whether you are here in Building K or you are at your home, you can just simply type in your answer and it will appear as soon as I click on the Show Results button. Okay. You're already an ELISA student. Oh my God, I will have to find you. We have quite different answers, which is really nice. It's a really diverse audience, so I didn't expect anything else. Okay. I don't know whether you would love ELISA or you already love ELISA, but it's nice to read it. Okay, as I can see, the most but the thing that you have written more is like curiosity, which is really nice because we really would like to raise your attention to this great program. So hopefully your curiosity will turn into knowledge at the end of this event. Okay, but we also have a third question, don't we? Which is, what do you know about ELISA? Okay, what have you heard about it so far? I would like to ask the ELISA colleagues to hold themselves back a little bit so that we know that what the others know about ELISA who are sitting here or sitting in front of their laptops this time. Oh, and let me click on show results. Okay, let's see your knowledge on it. Future education, partnership between technical universities. Some of you even know Mr. Martindale. Wow, lucky you. He's really fun. It's a possibility. Student program. Nothing. Wow, I'm happy about this answer. We have some people here who we can share some extra information with. Really nice. Okay. Okay. 2 participants are still typing, but I can see that you have quite a good basic knowledge of what ELISA is about, and hopefully at the end of this event you will know everything about it. Okay, so let's get back to the presentation, which I will manage, of course. We already done this. Okay, so before I ask our first guest to hold his presentation, I would like to tell you a few words about today's evening. Well, actually today is a very special day that comes once a year to your life. Each year in November we meet motivated and talented students within the framework of Students' Scientific Conference. And actually we celebrate those smart youngsters who have worked hard on their scientific research. But this year we have another reason to celebrate. November the 10th is the birthday of Elisa Leonida Zamfirescu. If her name does not ring a bell, let me tell you that she was one of the very first women to obtain an engineering degree in the world. Wow, that is something. And what does this fact have to do with today? Well, actually, Elisa's name was an inspiration for the founders to call the first alliance of higher education institutions from different countries in Europe, meaning to define and to implement a common model of European engineer as ELISA. But what exactly do these letters EELISA stand for? And what can be known about this strategic partnership between 9 outstanding European universities? This will be told by Dr. László Gergely Vig. So I would like to ask the Director of International Academic Affairs to hold.
Thank you for your introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. It is really good to see that we are so many of you here together. So before starting the session, which will anyway be for communities, I would like to give you here a short introduction on ELISA, especially to those who are not familiar with ELISA. Who we are ELISA. This is the European University Alliance that will transform engineering education and society. What is exactly ELISA? As you have heard, that it pays a tribute to Elisa Zamfirescu. But actually the acronym stands for the European Engineering, Learning, Innovation and Science and Alliance, which aims to implement a common model of European engineer rooted in society. It contains, there are 9 universities involved in this. The coordinator of the consortium is a UPM from Madrid. Then we have 2 schools from Paris, École de Pont and PSL, FAU from Germany, Erlangen. Then again 2 schools from Pisa, Sant'Anna and SNS. And then of course BME from Hungary and the Bucharest Technical University, and as well as the Technical University of Istanbul. This consortium covers more than 180,000 students, 16,000 faculties and 11,000 staff. So this is a very huge alliance. Actually, I believe that this is the biggest alliance among the European universities. ELISA's mission is to transform European higher education into a seed for a future in which society masters global challenges with smart and sustainable solutions enabled by engineering. What is our vision? Our vision is a higher education system that enables student citizenship, participation and employability by evolving interdisciplinary engineering learning, fostering knowledge and technology transfer, stimulating inclusiveness and diversity, and connecting academic excellence to social impact and commitment. How this vision gets into the practice? We can say that we have 3 main pillars to do this. Let me start with the third one, which is, we can call it as ELISA products, meaning the development of a European engineer model based on a single cross-border accreditation. So it's an accredited European engineering model. It's going to be an accredited European engineering model, meaning that joint education activities, joint technical activities, joint degrees, and so on and so on. The second pillar is for strengthening the research, activities among the partners. So it means a joint research and innovation strategy, joint research actions, and so on. This is supported by the ELISA InnoCore project. And the number 1 is what we can in general call as ELISA communities. ELISA communities are mission-driven collaboration platforms that foster knowledge, research, and innovation needed to solve social and environmental problems framed in Agenda 2030. I'm not going to detail the communities now. My colleague will have a few more words on it, but I can emphasize that this is one of the key components of the ELISA cooperation and ELISA alliance. Regarding ELISA InnoCore, here the acronym InnoCore means that Innovation and Common Research Strategy. This will bring a new level of cooperation that will transform the research and innovation dimension of the alliance. It aims to connect researchers, innovators, and stakeholders by creating networking platform and by mapping and creating joint research and innovation strategies. We would like to also enable the joint research projects and research and innovation structures by sharing our infrastructures, creating multi-labs, and by fostering joint research projects and structures. We would like to also optimize the outreach of joint research by connecting with ELISA communities and by extending a network of R&I actors. Regarding the ELISA products, in general, we can say that they will recognize European engineers ready to work within multidisciplinary, multilingual, and diverse environments. They are STEM professionals who are able to understand social challenges and smart technologies with sustainable needs. Basically, we can distinguish 3 major products. The most advanced one is the ELISA degree, joint degree, which means that we would like to launch joint degree programs with the ELISA partners. The second level is the ELISA Diploma Supplement. This will be awarded to those students who spend one semester at an ELISA partner or doing an equivalent work. Finally, the ELISA Credential. ELISA Credential is going to be awarded to those students who are taking part in the community's activities related to social challenge solving processes. I can announce that ELISA already had more than 1,000 credentials awarded to ELISA students. Hopefully it's getting to be even much more soon. So how you can get involved as a student in ELISA? You can see a couple of connection points that you might find interesting. Let me just highlight a few of them. We strongly recommend you to utilize the mobility options, to spend a mobility semester at another ELISA university in order to learn and research with partner students. You can go for ELISA internship or ELISA apprenticeship. You can get the skills for highly qualified jobs in a pan-European environment. By these words, I conclude to my presentation. I really do hope that you may find some opportunities in this alliance and in this cooperation, and I would like to wish you a joyful event here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the nice welcome speech. Now that you have a deeper knowledge on what ELISA is about, let me tell you some points about the communities that can be called the heart or the engine of this alliance. Well, the aim of the communities that operate within this alliance is firstly to boost transnational mobility. Secondly, it is to foster cross-sectional networking within the ELISA, of course. The communities also aim to organize activities regarding their aims that we are going to listen to some minutes later. And of course, one of the community's priority is to find and maintain cooperation between students, researchers, lecturers, and external partners. Through these cooperations, they would like to contribute to increase the visibility of ELISA. Okay, so much about it. So if you have found this all interesting so far, I have very good news for you, because we have asked the communities to tell the most important points about themselves to you today. So, well, actually they have no secret intention to grab your attentions, so kindly listen up and try to figure out which of the communities, or maybe more than one, grab your attention. Firstly, I would like to ask the representative of the community called Future of Work to hold their short presentation, and, well, let's see what the future holds for us.
Thank you, Shara. Welcome everyone here and online. My name is Fruzsina Patakibito. I'm working at the Ergonomic and Psychology Department in this university, and I'm representing today the community of Future of Work. With this community, we decided to deal with the current problems of the office work. And as you all know, the situation of coronavirus has caused many problems for offices all around the world. And now dealing problems with how to continue, how to design the office for hybrid work, and also how to ask the employees back to the office if they feel that they need to. So first of all, we would like to gain knowledge of the future of the work and of the future of the office, of the physical office especially. We would like to develop a practical solution for the challenges, as I mentioned, and we decided to break with the traditional research methods such as questionnaires and interviews or focus groups, and we think about a gamified method which let us involve the employees in the organizations. So with this gamified method, we would like to help the organizations to find their way in the future of offices. With this method, we emphasize the personal needs and preferences of the employees. It is very important from an organizational psychology point of view. And with that, we support the well-being of the employees and also the managerial decisions of office work. Let's see the goals. As Elisa set the goals, we selected those which concerns our project and our community. We work on good health and well-being, quality education by involving students in a research project like this, and decent work as well. From the Horizon Europe global goals, I emphasize the creativity, because I think this research method will be a very creative one in the future. We started this research with the organization psychology students, and now we decided to open this project up to international fields. So involve now the Istanbul Technical University, the Management Engineering Department. So at the moment we are working on this concept development together. And, but we already have some members from all around the world, from outside of the organization. And let's see the planned activities. As I mentioned, this is the first project for us. So we divided this first project to activities. The first is a concept creation activity. The second one is a kick-off meeting for test periods. So we will have this year 2 test periods where students will bring this method concept to organizations to test it, to try it, to get feedbacks. And between those test periods we will have evaluation meetings and we will develop the method further. And finally, at the end of the year, we will have a virtual forum where we present this project to other ELISA communities. And let's see how you can get involved in this community as a student. As I mentioned, we have a small group for developing the method, but we are open, and anyone from different fields can also join this group. And also we are happy if there are more people who can join in test periods to bring this method to the organizations. We also invite the organizations who are interested, who are dealing with the same problems nowadays, and we would help them to define the role of the physical environment for their organizations. You can find our community page on ELISA website, and through that website you can connect me directly. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. And well, I really wonder what the next community, SASCO, is about. I suspect their presentation will be also very interesting, so I kindly ask Orsi to come to the stage.
Thank you, Shara, for the word, and welcome everyone. I'm very happy to be here, and I do hope that some of you will decide to join us later on. So, my name is Orsolya Barna, and I'm a PhD student at the Business and Management Doctoral School of BME, but I also work as an international coordinator at the Faculty of Economic and Social Sciences. And I'm here to present you the Sustainable Competencies, in short, SUSCO community. So, our main aim is to deal with interdisciplinarity when it comes to sustainable and transversal skills development in engineering education. You might ask, why interdisciplinarity? Well, interdisciplinarity is often seen as one of the main tools of sustainable education, and we would like to further study its role in higher education, especially in engineering education, and how we can integrate it better into engineering curricula. We do hope that by the end of our activities, we will develop a set of recommendations for partner universities of ELISA to upskill their students for sustainability. So let's see how is our community connects to the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, in the focus of our community is the quality education, number 4 goal. But quality education, well, education is a horizontal element, so it directly connects to many different goals, but we highlighted 3 others that we would like to focus on throughout our work. So one of them is number 8, decent work and economic growth, or the other, number 12, is responsible consumption and production, and number 17 is about partnerships. So we'd like to build more partnerships. So who joined our community? Apart from BME, 3 other universities joined SUSCO, 3 technical universities from Istanbul, Madrid, and from Paris, École de Pont. So, sorry, the other way around. What activities do we plan for the next year? So we identified 5 main stages, as you can see. The first 3 is on the top. We would like to start with the desktop research, so to see what has been already discussed and published in this area. We would like to focus on sustainable skills in general, or sustainable skills specifically for engineers, how to teach sustainability, and the role of interdisciplinarity in education. The second stage would be an in-house study in all the locations. So we would like to collect local knowledge and good practices, how sustainable skills are integrated in the everyday education. This would mean focus group discussions and interviews with both students and lecturers as well. In the third stage, we would like to reach out to non-academic partners. So we would reach out to engineering companies and employment agencies to see how they view the important skills for sustainability, what skills they are looking for when they are hiring engineers, or what skills companies are looking for when they try to improve their environmental performance, and so on and so on. And in the last 2 phases, we would like to synthesize and summarize our results, and hopefully to put together this set of recommendations for engineering universities. So how can you join us, and why should you join us? Well, it's quite easy. We definitely need your help, so we definitely need students' voice in our research. Not to mention that it's all about your future and your skills and your potential. So please come and join us and help us do our work. There are also some benefits for you if you join us. You can participate in some project meetings, which can mean that you can travel to some of the countries participating in our project, and which could be covered by the project as well. And since we are looking for students from all the locations, so you can meet fellow students from all different locations, and you can expand your network. So how to get in touch? Our community page is currently being developed on the ELISA webpage, but until then you can see my email address, so you can reach out to me personally. And thank you so much. That was all, and that was all about SUSCO, and I hope to see you in our community soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And I don't know how it is with you, but I would really like to see a bit more clear about what the following community called Vision and Engineering is about. So I kindly ask the representative of this community to hold their presentation.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. So what I would like to... Okay. Just as usual, yes. Thank you. Sorry for the next one if it's a problem. Anyway, okay, so my name is Agnes Urbin, and I'm here to present the community of vision and engineering. So what our aim is to take back the optimization process for human-centric design. So what we aim to is to emphasize the importance of visual aspects of human-centric design. So we would like to give you knowledge about vision science and involve students in projects with some knowledge of the visual system and vision sciences. So we aim for interdisciplinary collaborative approach from numerous fields like lighting engineering, colorimetry, ophthalmology, but don't be afraid if you are not in any of these fields. So the thing is that we aim for all of engineering fields, and we would like to give you some knowledge of our field to make your work more complex and your understanding better of human needs and visual needs. So here you can see the official goals and objectives. Of course, it's not independent of human health and well-being and education and life on land. And as you can see, I don't think I should really read all of this. We are really before the first step, I think. So we have a member from Erlangen. And as you can see from our planned activities, we are planning to broaden our community. So we don't have that nice timeline like the others before me. We would like to visit, and it's not a full list, of course. We will see where we can find connections both in education and in research in the partners. And so that's why I'm here now. So please, if you can find any project or any subject or any course where you have an idea that okay, maybe a visual system has something to do with this, then please contact us and ask for our help and let us join in these projects. We are planning to organize workshops to show some of these small projects where we think that we can join. And to visit departments and laboratories to find common points. So the activities, because I think that's the most expeditive way to join, to figure out who is interested in our work. So you can study the fundamentals and the newest scientific results of visual sciences. We don't want to create visual scientists. We are happy to find some, of course, but we would like to share information on these fields. You can participate in interdisciplinary projects considering the visual aspects of human-centric design, and we are planning to involve students in scientific events such as the Day of Light and the European Researchers' Night, where you can work with us or with the partners to share this knowledge in a wider forum. And if someone is spending more time with us, then they can get insight into CIE activities like the International Community on Illumination and clinical industrial relations. So that was my short introduction. Please get in touch if you are interested. You can find my contact here, and sooner or later you will find the community's webpage on the ELISA page. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for your help. Okay, well, actually I find myself quite young, but there may be some even younger researchers here in the room and in front of their laptops. I really wonder what opportunities these young researchers have, so I kindly ask Professor Gyula Zilahi to hold his presentation.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid I'm not the young one here anymore, but this is for the young, okay? So that helps a little bit. Thank you very much for introducing me. I'm Gyula Zilahi from the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences, Social and Economic Sciences, yes. Department of Environmental Economics and Sustainability, that is for sure. My background is in sustainability, but going back like 30 years, so that's when I started to deal with sustainable development. My background is business and management, but of course I've been cooperating with researchers from many different fields. And of course we do have a mission. These are very new communities. I mean, we have been around for a couple of weeks, I would say, officially not even present on the web page, just forming. Actually, the first year of these communities is just to find the exact topics, the exact notions and ideas for cooperation. Let me tell you a little bit about my background, because I'm older, I said, so I have a bit more background. But the idea didn't come up with the ELISA community, so it was not like, okay, we have to come up with an idea for the ELISA community. But I've been working with PhD students for many years in sustainable development, and ELISA is about sustainable development very much. Many years ago, I organized PhD conferences in environmental economics and sustainability. Then it ceased for whatever reason. I participated in many conferences where you have a PhD day where PhD students can actually work with professors in a very nice environment and share their ideas from different international universities and schools. So the idea was that maybe revive the PhD conference, a conference for young researchers from many different parts of sustainability science, but make it international. And ELISA came up, which I never knew before, but then this brings us a very good opportunity to do this type of cooperation between the universities. So the mission is about PhD students and young researchers, but I understand that many of you are from bachelor and master degrees. This can actually be extended and broadened. We are going to talk about this, and that will be maybe one of my ideas to my partners, that maybe we want to open to even younger students. You can never start, too early if you want to do research. So this is a long career. You can start at a young age. So the idea is that to bring together young researchers. Now, one thing which we always stress is multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, transdisciplinarity, but this is so much easier to say than to do. So what do we actually mean by interdisciplinary research in sustainability? Talking about it is nice. Implementing, actually having researchers with different backgrounds working in one research group and not in silos is a challenge. So two challenges for this community is, one is networking, learning about each other's topic, each other's research topics, and the other one is to understand interdisciplinarity and actually implement it in our daily research activities, which is, as I said, not that simple. We could single out a couple of SDGs. Now, of course, the topic means that if anyone comes from, marine biology, I would be happy with that, right? So we were asked to narrow our focus, but we could have more. Then, of course, some horizon. Horizon is very much in line with what we are doing. At the moment, we have 3 universities, 2 apart from BME, which is Polytechnic University of Bucharest, Technical University, and University in Madrid. We are already contacting the university partner in Paris, and this may actually extend over the year. Timeline, we had to come up with a very simple timeline, of course, for 1 year. Actually, a bit of brainstorming, we can call it needs of identification, of course, it sounds so much better. But it's still about brainstorming. What do we want to do together? What are the interests of the different partners? Okay, how can we align those interests? Who could be part? I know that in Bucharest, both in Bucharest and in Madrid, we have some contacts to the PhD schools already, so that is, there we have some support, formal and informal support for this community. A couple of research workshops, traveling from here to Bucharest to Madrid, but also maybe those researchers and young researchers can come to Budapest over the next couple of months, and then thinking about some guideline development about how to do interdisciplinary research in this field of science, and a hybrid conference, if let's hope that we can make it by before the end of the early summer, kind of June, a hybrid conference may be organized here, some traveling here, some Hungarian PhD students as well, and then some international plus online. And the final workshop, how to move ahead. Of course, the idea is that we can develop this community into projects, into fundraising ideas, and work together and see what happens. Of course, we have a bit of funding now for 1 year, see what happens, what comes up. I think we can link to a couple of international organizations. I'm in the board of the International Sustainable Development Research Society, and for this society in the annual conference, the PhD workshops are really very important. And well, actually 30, 40 PhD students, you know, come together in this PhD conference. So that's something we can link into this community, and there are of course many more. I wouldn't think that this is close to ELISA partners. I would be happy, you know, to have some other universities joining, informally or formally. We will see. Of course, funding is a different thing, but make it a bigger network and see where it goes. So you're welcome. Yeah, of course, our webpage is under construction, like all the others. You can reach me at this email address. You can find me in the phone book of the university. I'm happy to cooperate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I've already told you how beautiful this building is, but I hope you all agree. Please use these international signs. Okay, thank you. But besides beauty, sustainability is also a very important characteristic. I hope you also agree with this. But I wonder how buildings, cities, and even communities can be sustainable. I kindly ask Dr. Balázs Bokor to hold his presentation on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm very honored to be here with you, both in person and online. And I would like to present the Sustainable Buildings, Cities and Communities ELISA team for you, which we have just joined from the side of BME. This group is coordinated mainly by UPM from Madrid, and it has actually the goal to teach and to develop educational materials to teach students about the construction and management of cities and communities and buildings which are sustainable on the longer run, not only from the energy point of view, but also as working together as communities. The group itself has been founded earlier, and they have several interesting international projects which I will show to you soon. Mainly this group is dominated by the colleagues of UPM from Madrid. As you see, around 120 professors and researchers are present in it from 27 departments. UPM has 80 professors and 8 schools, 13 departments, but BME is a massive partner with 10 professors and 2 departments participating in this group. What you might find interesting is what background this group has. You see here some more images about the participants, BME, then the Italian partner Scuola Normale Superiore, also other Italian partners. French partners are present in this community. However, what I want to emphasize is what background it has. You must have heard about Solar Decathlon, which is an international house building project organized and universities present here a house that every year, with a collaboration of various faculties of universities, are being built, and the BME has also participated this twice. You can find the ODU project in the garden of BME, very close to the K building. So that building was a very successful participant in the solar decathlon earlier. UPM, as a lead partner, has a very strong background in solar decathlon, and they have managed several projects that were successful in solar decathlon. What the next task is, and I think this is the most interesting for you to know, that an upcoming event of the community is a think tank of the European Space Agency, and this is a project that will last in this academic year. The first event is in the last week of January. It's both an online and in-personal event. The personal part will be held in Madrid. And the target of this think tank is to have a concept for renovation of the European Space Agency's building in Madrid, which has a Bauhaus architecture, as you can see in this building, in this picture. The main aim is to gather with students and professionals and professors from the participating universities and develop a refurbishment plan to create sustainable building in this space agency building A in Madrid. What the think tank is going to be about, it is going to contain several sub-think tanks. One is health and well-being, which will contain social aspects and sustainability, health and well-being of workers, improving their comfort conditions. So this is quite strictly bound to building services, how you provide good indoor quality of air and thermal qualities. The other one is energy efficiency. If you think about nowadays issues, it's a very important aspect. However, the more efficient you want to be, it can be quite negative on health and well-being. So finding the balance between health and well-being and energy efficiency is a very important one. Environmental sustainability, circular economy, water management, waste management. So as you see, this is a bit broader than only sustainable buildings. Here is where communities come into the picture. Also efficient facility management to improve the employee productivity and the creativity in this building is one of the targets of the think tank. Digitalization, which is actually quite interdisciplinary, so it can be implemented in any of these subcategories addressed before. And the architectural aspect of the project is to preserve the Bauhaus architecture of the building during the refurbishment. The duration of this project is this academic year, of which the first phase is already running, the preparation, gaining documentation about the building, and it is being now organized which students and which professors are going to participate in this event in person. However, in the form of online participation, it is still open to any of you, and please feel free to address me with your interest in the think tank and collaboration with the project. The second phase is the think tank itself, which is actually the most concentrated part of the elaboration in the last week of January in Madrid. And after that, the second semester of this year is the coordinated cooperation of the partners who participate in this project. Actually, the participation is open for all BME faculties because, as you see, this is a very multidisciplinary project. The tasks related to think tank groups and meetings in online format, active participation with fellow international students and professors. So if you are open to collaborate with the other university members, you are very welcome to join this project. However, I would suggest to you, both if you are a student or if you are a professor starting to involve a student, to find a way that you will be motivated to work on it on a longer run. So if a bachelor or master thesis can be built on the activities, it's a very good plus because then you can have a scheduled motivation on the development of your contribution in the project, and that will definitely help you reach higher with the results. So thank you very much for your attention. You see here my contact data, my name, my email address. So in case you are interested in collaborating, feel free to write me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Well, since we are here at the Budapest University of Technology and Economics, I think it's a great opportunity to hear a little bit more about tech diplomacy and international cooperation. So I kindly ask Dr. Balázs Nagy to hold his presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Shara. I wish I had your narrative. So we heard about interdisciplinarity, how complex that is and how challenging. So I know I have only a few minutes, but I got a story about that. So not so long ago, I invited a Brazilian medical scientist to give a lecture in my course to mechatronics engineering students. And she was speaking in English. So she held a nice presentation about medical stuff, doctor things. And after that, I was asking my students when she left us that, so what was the language she was using? And they were saying like, English. I said, no. Then, well, she's Brazilian, she must have spoken Portuguese. No. It was the language of the medical people that we sometimes don't understand. And it's a clear sign that we have to understand the language to sell our technology to them because they use that every day. I mean, we all use technology every day, okay? Here's my pocket with my cell phone, right? So the 21st century is definitely the century of technology. And to spread that out all over the world, what engineers create is a necessity to talk each other's languages. And that's what diplomacy somewhere is all about. It's not just the diplomats at the embassies, although they are involved. So we got this community. It's quite an interdisciplinary community in this sense. We have major goals, as you can see, techno-science, diplomacy. It's more buzzwords to think about. Our idea is to talk about this, to teach our students how to go out and spread the word. We have major challenges all around. We just had kind of a pandemic. It was solved by technology, vaccines. We are having an energy crisis right now. I hope it's going to be solved by technology very soon, so we're not freezing. But we have major challenges, and we have also minor challenges at our own homes that we have to deal with. That's why, no wonder, we target all or not all, but most of the sustainability development goals of the United Nations. So we try to base on everything. And the membership is interesting to all the ELISA member institutions. So basically we have all on board. Of course, we have leaders, which is the Madrid University of Technology and also the Friedrich Alexander Universität in Erlangen. So these are the leaders, but we have at the moment 34 individual members for all our institutions. And what are the ideas here? Of course, we want to promote ELISA. We want to have our engineers as leaders worldwide, that they can spread the word and transform society, not only digitally, but by its societal needs. We want to raise awareness. I hope everybody believes that yesterday we really launched another rocket to the moon, and the Earth is round. So these are important facts, but not that simple only. We want to be interdisciplinary and create an ecosystem where we can work together with all the key decision makers. Either they are lawyers, economists, engineers, medical doctors, whatever professions. And of course, this is one of the key issues at the EU level, that Europe should be competitive enough. And for that, we definitely need the diplomacy of technology. So we got a couple of events coming up. There will be one live event in Nuremberg, close to Erlangen, basically next door. I will participate on that. And one of the key topics will be nuclear energy, just talking about the energy crisis nowadays. So this will be one key issue. We do have courses on. If you look at our website, you will see some ongoing courses constantly, some past courses that may be repeated in the near future. We will have a design thinking event at ITU in Istanbul next year, and I'm also hope to organize one event later on in the next year. So you will go through this. I will not go into details. What are the past and present events? If you go to our website, you can register to some of these events still going on right now, coming up very soon in the first month of next year. And with all that, I would conclude my presentation. So please come to contact me. We are really looking for the future leaders who understand how to really get by on the European and the global landscape. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. Well, if you're still hesitating a little bit whether to join a community or not, I would like to ask, then we will have very good news for you. I would like to ask Dr. László Gergely Víg to tell about a really unique opportunity that comes along with this ELISA.
Thank you. So what I'm talking about here is a scholarship or grant. Actually, we have created two types of scholarships or grants for students. Let me start with the very fresh one, very new one. It's going to be a grant which is for short mobility. The name of the grant is going to be Students in Communities. So as the name reflects, that it is about the student participation in ELISA communities. So as I thought, it's a short mobility, meaning minimum 1 week or maximum 2 weeks of mobility, during which the student shall visit ELISA partner and participate in ELISA community activities. This is really a very new opportunity. It's not even announced, but in the following weeks you might expect to have it announced on our website, which is elisa.bme.hu. The other scholarship or grant is called the Student Ambassador Grant, which is a dedicated scholarship to those students who are participating in semester mobility, Erasmus mobility. So it's a kind of extension of the opportunities in order to spend 1 week prior to the semester mobility in order to take part in, again, ELISA activities and to get integrated at the partner institute. So it's for outgoing mobility as well. Hope these 2 options will support you and help you. In both cases, the grant would cover your travel expenses and the subsistence costs. So hopefully this will help you to take part, to join to ELISA and to take part in ELISA communities. Thank you.
I'll wait for you. Thank you for sharing this great opportunity with us. I wish I was a student now, again. Okay, well, actually, we haven't asked our dear audience for a while, and I wonder whether you are still with us, guys. So, we are really excited to get some feedback from you, so kindly go to slido.com again, take your mobile phones. This is a legal time where you can, you know, just use it during a presentation. And kindly switch event, which you can do at the menu point, as far as I know it well. Okay, and if you have switched event, please type in the new code, which can be seen on the screen, but let me just read it out, 7412280. Okay, and I tried to switch the screens, okay, which is a little bit of a challenge for me, but I'll manage. Okay. So the answer for the first question, which was how keen are you to join a community right now, are arriving. And I'm happy to see that more and more answers are coming to this question. Mm-hmm. Well, the ratio changes, keeps on changing, so it's really exciting whether we can reach score 4.0. Okay, let me just wait for a little while. You usually have something around 30 answers. Yeah! Okay, thank you very much. I'm really happy to see that I'm not the only one in this room who is interested in joining a community. Actually, I'm part of a community myself, but okay. Let's see the second question that we have here. If you're already interested in joining a community, what is your motivation? What do you find interesting, or what is your motivation to join a community? What do you think now after listening to these presentations, after listening to these great opportunities, and so on? You can just simply type in your answer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. I see networking a lot of times among the answers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cooperation, networking, be part of some bigger thing is something that I can see. And solving challenges and problems. And sustainability, social responsibility. Oh my God, you have really nice motivation. Mm-hmm. Okay. All of these can be reached if you join a community, actually. Now let's see our last question here. Okay, someone is typing, yes. Thank you very much, my dear colleague, to raise my attention for this answer. Yeah, we will wait for it. Okay, maybe it has arrived. He or she wants to tell us something really bad, so let's wait for her or him. Okay, no one is typing, but maybe you have some questions in your mind, and maybe you would be happier to write it for us. So here's the chance for you now to ask whatever you want from us regarding ELISA, okay? Regarding the communities of ELISA, and we would be happily answering you. Okay, how can I join? The most important question. We didn't pay for him or her actually to ask this. Well, there are a couple of things that I can answer, but if any one of you just want to join me here on the stage and answer these questions, I would happily. Okay, then I remain here alone, no problem. Okay, so how can I join? Well, actually, it's quite easy. You can go to elisa.com, where you can find a menu point saying ELISA Communities or something like this, and that will direct you to the platform of communities, where you can find all the communities, actually. Some community leaders or representatives have said that they haven't been registered on that platform yet, but of course this presentation you will be able to reach this presentation later on, so you can always find their contacts, okay, their email addresses there. So if you just write to them that, oh my God, your presentation was so good, I really want to join your community, you will get a very positive answer, I'm sure about it. Mm-hmm. Let's see the next one. Okay. When can we join communities? Well, the best time is right now, as I would say, but maybe in the break or after this event. Okay, but to be less funny, I can say that you can join them anytime you want. The sooner, the better. Are these opportunities open to international students too? Of course they are. We are really happy to have an international, diverse community within a community. So you're very, very welcome. Can I join if I'm in my last semester? Yes, of course. You could see the timeline of these communities. They have very different and interesting programs starting from tomorrow, let's say. So you can join it in this. You can join in this semester as well, of course. Mm-hmm. Where do I find the links and the mail to join the communities? You will be able to find this presentation on elisa.bme.hu, if I'm right. Okay, confirmed. And then you can always find I've already told you about this platform, the communities platform, okay, so you can find all the details, contact details there. Yes, you can join in your last and in your first semester as well, and in any semesters actually. Can you join a degree program or just communities? Well, just communities will give you a lot of opportunity for you to later on, maybe, hopefully, to join a degree program as well. Like, we are working on it, and in the future, we have the vision to have a European degree for the European engineer, but until we reach that really great stage, so to say, you can join communities and you can have lots of advantages. Are there any other communities forming? Yes, actually, communities there are. We know about some of them, but you are free to form your own. There are a couple of points that you have to reach, like requirements that you have to meet, but yes, it's possible. Actually, we know about a community in Madrid which were formed by students, purely students. would joining any communities interrupt my class schedules? I don't think so. Or if that happens, maybe you can... so I don't think so. I mean, you know, students are so creative. I think you will find a way to, how to say, meet these points, like the schedule of your class, and to be able to do these programs at the same time. I'm sure it can be handled. And lots of programs are during the summer or during the breaks and so on, so you will manage, I'm sure. There is no deadline to join. You can join continuously, okay, in every minute, anytime. Well, actually, there's this question like, does joining BME ELISA community means being part of ELISA University? Well, BME is already an ELISA University, so already just sitting in this room or being a student of BME, you're already an ELISA student, so to say. But if you want to have a close, or if you want to join this program, this great opportunity, then you can also join a community as well and be an extra ELISA student then, I would say. Okay, I don't think there are any other, oh yeah, 2 participants are typing. If I'm in a community, can I get a scholarship? Yeah, Professor László Gergely Vig has already told about these great opportunities. Yes, he has a very long name, so I'm sorry, but I managed. Yeah, so you have these great opportunities in forms of grants. So yes, you can get a scholarship. What kind of obligations come with ELISA? Well, there are no, how to say, it's all about how motivated you are, okay? You will put yourself in this community, you will dedicate yourself to this community, and you will take out as much as you give in, I would say. So, that's it. Okay, I don't think, oh yeah, oh my God, 4 participants are typing. I'm really happy for your questions. Yeah, I'm not tired at all, so it's really nice that we have. Okay, can I reach out to? Actually, this is a really good question. Well, the others were also really good. Can I reach out to 2 communities and commit myself later? You can do that, absolutely. You can join more communities at the same time. You don't have to like sign a contract or anything that you will dedicate your whole life to that community or nothing like this. But I believe that you will, you know, take part in those events. You will feel yourself great among your fellow students, researchers, and other community members, and then you will go and join them and join other programs later on by yourself. Okay. No necessary conditions, you just have to sign or join a community. Does this allow us to have exchange programs in partner universities for maybe a semester, sort of like an Erasmus does, especially for stipendium students? Actually, the programs or events or offered by the communities are very different. You have heard some of them, but we have lots of communities with different programs. Mostly I can say that they are shorter programs. Like there are some summer schools for a week or something like this, but they are not for like a whole semester. In general, I can say that. Okay, let's wait for that very, very last 3 participants. Typing their question. Oh, thank you as well. It's really nice that you are so interested in ELISA. Okay, 2 participants left. The community has it. I have discussed this question. Is it possible to apply for stipendium students? Yes, to join a community is absolutely allowed, and you are more than warmly welcome. For Erasmus opportunities, unfortunately, it is not for stipendium holders. But today is about ELISA and ELISA community, so you are really, really welcome to join them. Okay, let's listen to the final last two questions. It's a little bit strange, just standing here and you're looking at me. Okay. Short mobility. There is an opportunity for short mobilities for Stipendium Hungaricum holders. It is confirmed. Okay, and the last question, please, no other. Okay, he or she gave it up. Okay. I'm really sorry about it, but if no questions, then okay. 1 second, please. Thank you really, really much for being part of today's celebration, where actually our students and also the ELISA communities have been in focus. We hope that you have found this session interesting and informative, and that we will be able to meet you in one of the meetings of one or maybe more communities in the future. We are going to have a 10-minute long break, during which you will have the opportunity to ask the representatives personally, who are still with us, about their communities. So please feel free to join them for a chit-chat. And, at least those who are here in the room. Okay. And what is waiting for you after the break? Well, what else could I say than to quote the title of the next event: Open up your research with ELISA. So please come back after the break and take part in this really exciting workshop. Thank you very much for being here, for being active, and for being so nice with me and with us. Thank you.
Can I get a confirmation for that? Okay, so a bit tiresome. Okay, so is it okay now? Is it better? Is it echoing again? Okay. Is it okay? Good. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for your patience. And thank you for to show you what this session will be about. Okay, I'm going to go to my presentation. Okay, so my presentation is called Open Up Your Research, Practical Guide for Implementing Open Science Practices. My name is Borbála Schenk, and I am the Chief EU Research Funding Advisor of the Budapest University of Technology and Economics, and I'm also the editor of the BME competence map. On this picture, I'm showing you my team. The picture I'm showing you, the group photo, and also this nice visual with the tree is depicting the FIEC team, the Center for University Industry Cooperation. In this team, I am working as the EU Research Funding Advisor. My my professional area is the European funded research, like Horizon Europe grants and the Horizon Europe project. And on this tree, you see multiple branches, and these multiple branches show the diverse portfolio of activities of the Center for University Industry Cooperation. We are the unit in the university that supports innovation for all the faculties, and we are doing it with startup incubation, with tech transfer, with project management, and also including my field, which is the Horizon Europe support provided for the BME researchers. On that smaller photo there, you can see my team, and I'm very happy to have one of my team members here who is going to say a few words about open science a bit later in this presentation. I'm going to give you a brief introduction about open science in this workshop, and I would like to keep it as interactive as possible. So please expect some more Slidos, but I promise I will not overwhelm you with those. And I'm going to have two guests today. One of my guests will be Esteban Gonzalez, who is the chair of the ELISA Open Science Community. Now that you know all about communities, I'm very happy to have one of the chairs of the communities with us here in this session. And Esteban is going to talk about what the ELISA Open Science Community does and what his personal experiences with open science are. And my other guest will be Godwin Emmanuel Bandava, who is sitting here in the audience. He's part of my team. He's one of my great interns, and he's going to talk about open science from the student's perspective. Okay, so this is what I planned for you for today, and I would be really happy that at the end of the session you would go home with these positive feelings that you depicted on the first Slido poll, and with a new interest evoked towards open science. Okay? So let's start with the dry definition. Okay? So open science is a new trend in European research. By new trend, I mean that the elements of open science have already been apparent in the European research area, but basically since the beginning of the Horizon Europe Framework Program, which is the large-scale European research and innovation funding program directed by the European Commission. So since the beginning of this framework program, 2021, this open science gained formal and real acknowledgement in European research. So the definition I'm showing to you is basically taken from the proposal template set up by the European Commission, and it means that open science, so including open science in your research design, is actually an obligatory requirement now if you would like to apply for European research funding. So there is a very interesting dynamic interaction between the emerging trends in European research and the European Commission, so how the European Commission implements these new trends in the requirements of the funding proposals, and how the European Commission's acknowledgement of these trends interacts with the actual way how research is done on the European scene. So the elements of open science have been apparent on the European research area for quite long, but basically for 1 year we have this kind of obligation also to implement open science practices in our research if we would like to apply for European research funding. So what is open science? Open science is an approach based on open cooperative work and systematic sharing of knowledge and tools as early as possible in the research design. Okay? So very important that it is cooperation, very important that it is systematic sharing of knowledge, and also very important pillar is as early and as widely as possible in the research design. So I would like to ask you to go to Slido again, and I would, just a moment, I will find I activate the next poll, and I would like to ask you to think about what change you want to achieve with your research, okay? So we are going to approach open science from another perspective, not the definition, not listing the elements, but what is actually the motivation behind open science, okay? So think about what change you want to achieve with your research. It can be change in technology, it can be a change in society, it can be a change in how people are thinking about a certain phenomenon. So what change would you like to achieve with your research? What is the positive impact you would like to contribute to? The betterment of humankind, that's a very nice ambition. Climate change, the reversing of climate change, what else would you like to achieve? Changing in how people are thinking about cultural diversity, so like a change in attitude. You would like to help society. If you can refine a bit, that would be nice, because then we can approach this topic in a more focused way. Improved systemic knowledge, urban planning and sustainable cities, okay. Bringing knowledge to general population, change in waste management strategies, okay. Try to formulate this change as something positive, okay. So not just change in, but a better, more improved, a less costly, more friendly human being, yeah. To change the mindset of 20th century based systems. I see that we have great ambitions in the room and also online. And we are waiting for that one participant. Improve management education practices. So if you take a look at this list, we all want to achieve some kind of a change, some kind of a positive effect in the future. Improve in landfilling design, okay? Thank you very much for sharing this with me, sharing this with us. And if you think about your research aim, your research objective, this positive change, try to think about what your research results will be that will lead to this positive change. Will it be a technology? Will it be a new curriculum, for example? Will it be like a methodology, software? And also, who will be the end users? So, of course, if we are working in this room, we cannot achieve a better we cannot achieve improvement in waste management. We need someone to use our results in order to achieve this positive change. We need to go beyond academia. We need to go beyond our laboratories in order to achieve this positive change. So we need the end users. We need the stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? Who are your end users? Who are going to use your results? Can you name some in the room, maybe? End users of results, of your research? Who do you have to interact? Who is going to benefit from your research? If you are working on pharmaceutical technology, who is going to benefit from your research? The patient, the doctors, even the pharmaceutical companies can benefit from your research, okay? If you are working with sustainable city development, who is going to benefit from your research? Who is going to use your research? If you are, for example, developing a new smart urban mobility system, who is going to use that? The urban dwellers, the people who are living in the cities, the city transport operators, the municipalities, okay? So we all have end users for our research. And it is very important, and this requires a kind of a change in the mindset, to think about these end users if we are conducting our research, and not only when we are actually doing the research, but when we are planning our research design. So think about what the end users' needs are. Think about how they can be happy with our research results. And not only think about them, but try to engage them. So we can talk about our end users of our research in this room, but maybe they think something else. So we can come up with something, but maybe the reality is different. So it is very important to listen to their opinion, to hear what they think, and that is basically the essence of open science. So you have to think about, will your research outputs be accessible for your end users? So if you are working with, let's get back to the example, smart urban mobility planning systems. So how will your end users know about your research? Will they read the Journal of Smart Urban Mobility Planning, which is a very prestigious journal, I'm sure. I don't know whether it exists, I just made it up, but this is just an example. So will they read it? Or do you have to do something else? Do you have to take an extra mile to approach your end users? Will your research outputs be free to reuse? Or will their end users have to I don't know, pay a fee, for example, to get access to your results? Will your end users trust your research results? It's very important. Just think about the COVID-19 situation, okay, and the vaccines. That's the example that hits the closest to home to all of us. So if the people do not trust the research outputs, then they will not use it. They will develop negative feelings towards it. So you have to make sure that what you do will be trusted by those who will use it, and you have to develop this trust through how you conduct research. Okay, and this is the trust that is developed by open science. Okay. On this slide, I chose 3 quotes that I found very good and with a positive message about open science. One is, promoting open science when done in a constructive way might give you an online presence that help you raise your profile as a researcher. So when you are opening up your research, you are not only benefiting your end users, but you will be visible as a researcher. You will be visible towards your peers, you will be visible internationally, and especially for an early career researcher, for a young researcher, it is very important to establish a visibility as early as possible. Working in an open science manner makes research more fun. That's one of my favorites. So I would encourage you not to consider open science as something that is an extra burden for you, but something that enriches how you think about research and your research design. Open science is particularly important for early career researchers. Open research practices are here and won't go away. If you want to be a competitive researcher, you will need to be well versed in open science practices. Okay? So after all these positive intro and after seeing what the motivation behind open science is, let's talk about what we actually open up when we are opening up research. So first of all, the results. I think that is the more evident. That is the most evident from all these 3+1 pillars I'm going to show you. So opening up the research results can be done through publishing in open access journals, can be done through putting your manuscript in openly accessible repositories. So yes, if you would like your end users to be able to read your research results, you have to make them open, okay? And by end users, to not only think about the end users in society, the stakeholders we have just covered, but also fellow academics as well. Consider yourself. You would, by opening up the research results, you will be able to access other peers' research results as well. Data, publications, and maybe softwares. And data is a very important pillar in open science. So interim data, raw data, clean data. So if you go to zenodo.org, I don't know whether you use it, or you are familiar with it, or go to other data repositories that are openly accessible, you find a lot of data there. Raw data, interim data, clean data. The point is that you can get access to these data. You can use them for your own research, and also by searching for this data, you get access to other research results, and also you can get in contact with other researchers whom maybe you wouldn't know of if they haven't made their data public. And the third one is what can be done open is the evaluation process in publishing. So what we are used to now is the double-blind peer review system, when you do not know, you don't have any idea who is evaluating your publication, your manuscript. But there is a very interesting new phenomenon called open peer reviewing. It's not that new, but it's gaining more and more importance, right? As we proceed with open science. And this open peer review, I'm going to show you an example for that. This open peer review actually stimulates dialogue, stimulates the conversation about the research results as well. And as a fourth pillar, by open science, you are opening up your whole research process. You involve stakeholders from the very beginning. You organize meetings with your end users when you are setting up your research in order to align your research as much as possible to your stakeholders' needs. Okay? And there is also two others. One is opening up the research infrastructure, of course. It can have its problems. And the other one is the research performance assessment, which is also a very interesting new trend in the European research. And that means that in the research performance assessment, not only the classical results would count, like the prestigious publications or the citations, but how you engage with stakeholders, how you achieve societal impact beyond academia. So results, data, the peer review process, and the research process. This is basically what you can open. So this is an open science rainbow that I'm showing to you. And this open science rainbow shows many platforms, many tools that you can actually use to make your research open. Okay? So altmetrics, communicating about your research, for example, through Twitter, sharing posters and presentations by SlideShare or Figshare, using open licenses, sharing protocols. So all these very interesting and I would say trendy platforms to use, especially if you are an early career researcher. And all these platforms are used to open up your research, to make your research visible, to interact with other researchers, other scientists on your field, okay? And I'm just showing some examples to you. Sharing protocols and notebooks through My Experiment, protocols.io, Benchfly, sharing data via GitHub, Figshare, Zenodo, Dataverse, sharing posters via SpeakerDeck, SlideShare, F1000 posters. There is a wealth of platforms you can use. And also, these platforms are very important, not only for sharing your stuff, but also for interacting with other researchers, to get to know other researchers who work on the similar area as yours, to get to know, to get in conversation with other researchers, okay? And I just mentioned the open peer review process for you. This is something very exciting. The example I'm showing to you is the Open Research Europe platform. This platform was set up by the European Commission. It was launched in March 2021. And this open research platform is basically, it's not a repository, but it's like a journal, okay? So it's funded by the European Commission, and the European Commission accepts manuscripts to this Open Research Europe from researchers who are participating in Age 2020 and Horizon Europe projects. And what I want to show you here on that side of the screen is how this open peer review process works. So Open Research Europe is evaluated, so the manuscripts are evaluated by the open peer review process. So by the open peer review process, you actually know who is reviewing your manuscript. It is there. I managed to cut it very unfortunately, but there are actually two evaluators. You see who they are, and you do not only see who your evaluators are, but you actually see, and not only you, but everyone, so I can understand that it can be painful, everyone can see the review itself, everyone can comment on it, everyone, of course, with some moderation, everyone can see what your reply to the reviews are, and if you get like the two green checks, then your manuscript, or one green and one question mark, which says approved, approved with comments, and then your manuscript becomes an real article on Open Research Europe. But this whole process, the first publication of the manuscript, the peer review process, the evaluations, your replies, are transparent. All these stages are transparent, and you as a researcher can even join this conversation, okay? And this open peer review process can stimulate scientific discussion according to the open science principles. So this is basically an early and systematic sharing of your research results towards academia, and not only academia, but for example to companies who can be interested in your results. Another very interesting, and this will be my last slide about open science, is how you engage citizens in your research. Okay? So I'm not saying that you can engage citizens in all types of research. What I'm saying is that there are specific areas, specific topics, where it gives you a lot to crowdsource some of the research tasks to citizens, to people who would be eager to participate. This website I'm showing you, the Zooniverse, it's called People-Powered Research. I think it sums up very nicely what citizen science is. And this is actually that fourth pillar of open science I mentioned on my list. So this people-powered research means that you actually involve people like, for example, me, because I'm not a researcher, or my kid, who is interested in I don't know, discovering birds in the city when we are doing an excursion. So basically you crowdsource some tasks to citizens. And I just chose 4 examples. I'm not going to go into details, but for example, this is one with the diary. Your help as a citizen is needed to actually decipher this handwriting of this manuscript that is like an old diary or an old document. So of course the researchers do not have that much time to go through all the pages, but if you want to engage, then your help is very welcome. To write down, actually, to script down what those handwritten notes are about. Or for example, finding specific species of birds in the cities. You get a mobile application and you download it, and you can actually, when you find a bird's nest or a bird itself, you can actually upload the location for that, and so that the researchers could get an idea where those birds are in the country or maybe in Europe. So I would be happy to elaborate on these further, but I would like to turn to how Elisa can help you opening up your research. And I'm very happy to talk about it because there are multiple ways of this kind of support by ELISA. There is an open science community, and the chair of the open science community will say a few words about this community in a minute. But also, there are other initiatives in ELISA that tackle one or two aspects of open science. For example, we had a workshop on the gender dimension of research, which is also a part of open and inclusive way of doing science. We had ELISA innovation talks about citizen science and new co-creation practices. We also had an event in the framework of the ELISA International Open Access Week, and in ELISA Innocor, which is a side project or a sister project or a bi-project or another project of ELISA, concentrating on developing ELISA's research and innovation activities. There is a work package dedicated to open science, which is constantly buzzing with new deliverables, new events and programs. So ELISA, as a project that is aiming at developing the societal responsibility of engineers in research, in education, is very much into open science and fostering open science in multiple ways. So now I would like to call Esteban González from the UPM, the Polytechnic University of Madrid, who is the co-chair of the open science community, to talk a bit about the open science community of ELISA. And also I asked him to talk a bit about his personal experiences with open science. So now I would need the help. So now I would need the help. So now
Yes. Okay. 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 Yes. I think there is a problem with. Hello, do you hear me? No?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, and can you see my screen? Because I'm sharing right now I'm sharing a presentation. So, PowerPoint? No?
Hello, Esteban.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you have a PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
You do. Okay. Can you share it via Teams?
But share the screen or just the presentation?
Sorry, we have to tackle this this technical difficulty. So let me ask you again. Do you have a PowerPoint presentation, or you just would like to talk without a presentation?
No, I have a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Could you please share it with us through Teams?
Yes, I'm sharing the screen right now, but do you need exactly the file, the PowerPoint file?
Yeah, we actually do not see the sharing of the presentation.
Oh, let me. Can I share my presentation with you?
Okay, we still do not see it.
Wait a moment.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you will have an option on the top to share the screen. So please click on that and share your screen. And
yes, I'm sharing my screen, but I don't see the screen. I don't know why. Wait a moment.
I think that technical difficulty.
It will be okay now, I think, because we see that you are sharing something, but it's like black right now. But you seem to be sharing something, but it's not the presentation.
Let me try to do it in another way. If not, I'm trying to talk and and see what happens. Okay, sorry for the problems. I'm a software engineer, and and this thing happens. Let me see if I can show using another way to do it.
Don't worry, it always happens. We are used to it when we are having online meetings.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you see now the presentation? No, it happens the same. I don't know why. Wait a moment. Sorry for the delay.
Maybe if you can send the presentation to me via chat.
I'm using another thing. Oops, wait a moment.
Now something's happening. Yeah, it's perfect.
Now? Oh, fantastic. Okay, sorry for the delay. Okay, so thank you, Lovis, for your introduction, and also thank you to BME for the invitation. Okay, my name is Esteban González. I'm a research software engineer in the Polytechnical University of Madrid. So I have been working in the last years in open science, citizen science, research data management, etc., in many European projects with open science in general. And also I'm starting my PhD, so I think I'm in the same situation that most of the audience. And I'm going to talk today about just in general, my view and my experience in open science, but also in the ELISA open science community that I coordinate with the Dr. Burcu Bulut. Times in publications are changing right now. Okay, if you remember in the past, there's also a paper. There only a paper where this is only text. Okay, the data is not much bigger. Okay, it's just some tables that you can copy and paste and use it. Okay, but this is not very productive right now in this time, because as you know, we are in the big data era. Okay, so this is changing a lot. So right now the publications, okay, requesting not only they also can reproduce your research in, for example, in other domains, in other countries, etc. Okay, so this paradigm is changing right now. Okay, and you can find more information in this special group in the scientific paper of the future. Okay, so I like to show you one of the definitions. I'm very happy because it's very close to Lova said in her presentation. That is basically is opening the scientific process, and I use the word
scientific process, okay? It is not only to open the data, open the software, or open the paper. We can say the final products of our investigation. You can open every stage of the research process to a broader audience. So we have to take into account that, of course, the paper must be written for other researchers, okay? But I think this is important to open your investigation to the society in general, that everybody can understand the things that you are doing. But also you have to promote the collaboration and participation of the people. People can help you. There is incredible, and I will show you some examples of the participation of, we can say, amateurs, okay, in the scientific process and in scientific projects. So this is basically the research life cycle, okay? So you have you start with an hypothesis that you want to contrast. So you have to design an experiment and generate data, but any kind of data, okay? It is not only the final data that you are going to use to contrast your hypothesis. You need intermediate and raw data. And these products, as in the previous presentation you see, they are very, very relevant. For example, in the machine learning world, okay, the people develop different models. So to train these models, you need specific data sets. So in this domain, it's quite important to this, we can say, raw data, this gold standard data sets that we use to train our models. It must be open, that everybody can use and validate their models each other. So it's very, really important. But not only the data, the software is important. Okay, you need data, your software use specifically your raw data, for example, and produce this processes data. Okay, so the software and other we say research artifacts are really, really important to be open. Okay, and just not only the final products, and this is really important, it's also the raw and intermediate products. Okay, but also in these research objects that start with the experiments, produce data, etc., you can involve citizens in general. And I will show you some examples. So when you want to publish your data, software, any research artifact, you have to, there are like 4 principles that in all European projects you will always see. Okay, you have to publish, but following the 4 principles. This is basically, these principles are grouped in 4 categories, that is fair, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And what is this? This is not only important to make open your research. I mean, put your data in Google Drive, yeah, but you put your data in Google Drive, who can access to this data? Or how can we use this data? Okay, and this is always relevant. For example, I'm working in the software. So in the software, yes, you can find in GitHub repositories a lot of software. You can download the software. But when you try to test the software, that's a really, really difficult task. Normally, yes, the software is open, but it's not well described. And it's very, very hard to deploy this software in your systems and to use it. So this is really important, not only to open we can say the data, software, etc., okay, but you have to describe how to use it, okay? And this is the place of the usability. But also it's important to make a license of this data, okay, that everybody can use it, but under some terms, okay, of course. And as I said before, your data must be, we can say, findable. You have to put it in some specific repositories. Lova's mentioned Zenodo is a very general purpose repository where you can upload not only data, software, papers, whatever you want, posters, sounds, images, wherever, okay? So it must be findable. It will be very easy to find. So what is the relevance of the open science? Well, right now, if you try to make if you participate in a European project, you will see that one of the things you have to do, okay, is publish your, and they say research outputs, okay, includes, remember, data, software, publications, okay, as open as possible, okay? But not only this, for example, in the case of data, you have to, and this is mandatory for all European projects, you have to develop a data management plan. That is a document that describes how the data is going to be processed inside of your project, okay? But I have to say that this trending is not only for European projects, it's implanted in the national plans in the different countries of Europe. So this is not only a thing of Europe, okay, in America, they are using also. Okay. So I will put you an example. This is a Stars for All. It was Stars for All was an European project, and right now it's a foundation, in which one of the objectives is to monitor the light pollutions. Okay, so for monitor the light pollution, we need a network of photometers. That is basically a sensor that measure the brightness of the sky. Okay, so we have to, we plan to deploy this one. But well, it is not but normally it's difficult because you need a lot of money. Okay, not only money, you need people who deploy the sensor in one remote places. For example, we have sensors in the Svalbard Island. Okay, and this is not easy to do it, and it's very expensive, as you can imagine. So we plan, okay, maybe we can develop we can say a cheap sensor, but powerful sensor, but very cheap. Okay, so we contact with astronomer amateurs, and they help us to develop this sensor. And this sensor, right now we have a network of more than 200 sensors right now around the world, and these sensors are bought by people around the world. Okay. For example, we have there are people, owners of the hotels, that buy this sensor to show the customers about the light pollution in their area. Okay, so this is a way to spread the number of sensors. Okay, collaborating by the citizens and the society in general. Okay, and another example is one of the amateur astronomers is an electrical engineer. So he developed a robotic arm, okay, to move the sensor around the world and make a map, okay, of the light pollution. So this kind, I think, open your data, because the design of this sensor is totally open. So open all your research, okay. Encourage to other, we can say, citizens of the society to use it and to improve it, and that's good. Okay. And let me show you another example. Cities at Night. This is a project, okay? Well, this project starts because, the International Space Station just orbit around the world. So the astronauts, just for fun, start to taking photos of the Earth, but not only of the Earth, the sky in general, the stars, the northern lights, any kind of phenomena of the space, okay? So they took images of that. So one of I remember, because it's one of my friends, a PhD student, say, okay, I'm going to study the light pollution, not from we can say the Earth point of view, okay, measuring the light pollution, the brightness of the sky without sensors. I like to use to study the light pollution from outside of the atmosphere, okay? So he studied, he started to researching, okay, and say, okay, there is some satellites, they have some sensors, but well, I need some specific sensor. I need to see the color of the light, okay, and the sensors that are located in some of the satellites, I cannot do it with that. This is my study, okay. So he started to looking for how to do it, okay, and he found these images because NASA published these images for free, and there is no, we can say, scientific value at the beginning in these images. So this PhD student say, okay, there is cameras taken by a reflex camera, okay, a very normal camera, so I can use it and see the color of the lights that from the atmosphere. Okay, so he started this project, Cities at Night, and one of the challenges that they found, okay, there is a lot of images, not millions, okay, but thousands of them, okay, and these images are not only from, we can say, the cities or from the Earth. There is images from the robotic arm of the International Space Station, or the stars, or wherever, okay, so I need to classify them, but well, it's a titanic task. So he started thinking and say, okay, maybe the people can help me. So he started a project, Citizen Night, a citizen science project, where show each image to different citizens, and the citizens say, okay, this is a city, this is a robotic arm, this is a image of from the International Space Station. So he finally achieved that the people help him to classify these images. Okay, so this is another cool thing of the open science. Open your research, not only your results, you open your research to the people, to the society in general, that it can be helpful. So what's exactly the ELISA Open Science Community? Who can participate? Any, as you can say, any ELISA member, faculties, students, staff, internal, you are very welcome in participating in this community. What are the things we are doing? So basically, our objective is to advocate in raising awareness about open science, create network of excellence, be involved in open science projects. So if you are considering participating in open science project, it could be a platform to be in communication with other open science people. Of course, you can find funding opportunities, okay, inside of the communities, and you can participate in generally in ELISA. So how can you do it? How can we plan to do it? This one. So basically, planning activities for create this awareness in the open science. For example, we organize webinars, we participate in workshops, etc. Also, we are involved with other ELISA communities. So one of the objectives we have is, okay, if you are working in other community, okay, we can give you some support to help you about how to open this data, how to open the software, etc. But also we are with this participation, okay, I think you can get some benefits about how to participate in this participation. And for example, you develop a skills open science, because inside of this community, well, there are people who involved with open science and also involved in open science European related projects. Okay. And I think this is a good opportunity to know much about open science, and of course, as always, make contact with other open science researchers. And just to finish, how can you participate in the community? It's very easy. You have to go to the community webpage in the ELISA, and just click in the join button, and you can start to work with us. And that's it. I hope we hope to see you soon in the community. And I don't know if you have any question. In the first slide, you can find my email, or even the BME team has my email, so you can write me any message wherever you want. That's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Esteban. And you were not participating in the previous session that was about communities, and I can tell you that communities itself evoked great interest in, I'm sorry, that the notion of joining communities evoked great interest in the audience. So I'm sure that there will be some participants, some new participants in the open science community as well. So thank you very much for your presentation and for the very interesting examples. And we hope to work with you soon in the open science community. Thank you very much.
I have seen that we have the same vision of the open science, so I'm really happy. I'm not alone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm asking. Is it okay? Is the sound okay? Okay, good. Okay, so our time is running out, I think, but I would like to ask you to stay with us for 5 or 6 more minutes, because I asked my colleague, Godwin Emmanuel Bandava, to talk a bit about open science from the student's perspective. So Godwin will take a couple of minutes to talk about open science, and then we will wrap up the session on a very positive note, I promise. Okay?
Thank you for this opportunity to share. Thank you. To share my perspective about open science. So basically, right from my first semesters of my bachelor's program, I started to conducting research. Thank you. I started to conduct research, and by now I have participated in different research in about 3 different research areas. And from the previous presentations, I'm sure you must have gotten an overview of what open science is, but I would like to also try to offer my perspective, which I believe is pretty much unique, also having worked on and participated in the project or proposal of, for funding on several Horizon Europe projects. So the main concept of open science for me is to allow others to be able to reuse the research, the result of the research, and further directions can be based on the feedbacks what researchers get from sharing their research. An important aspect of opening science or opening research is that researchers can get valuable feedbacks, which in turn can help in the improvement of the research itself. This is also important in increasing the transparency of research. But what are the practical implementation of open science by early career researchers or students like me who have started to conduct research very early on in their studies? One of these practical steps for the implementation of open science can be the early sharing or the pre-registration of your research idea, open data, which have already been introduced, and then also tracking of your progress. The platforms listed on the slide are platforms that can be used for early registrations and also pre-registrations. But most importantly for me in the field of civil engineering is the last platform, what is there, called Speckle, and this is unique for AEC professionals because it allows for the sharing of data within different AEC applications. The FAIR concept has also been introduced already, but it is really very important. These are not standards, but rather sets of principles, and they are really basic principles that early career researchers can use in order to navigate their way through open science. So in other words, this can really help, and as I said, these are not standards, but also researchers can use this as to a much extent or to a bigger extent as much as they can in order to open up their science and really make their work quite visible and increase their they are networking in the international scientific community. And I think the ELISA communities offer this opportunity for students to have an easy access for such communities, because while participating in a community, you get to learn from your local community, you get to learn from experienced researchers, and you get to be introduced to new tools that can help to open up research. In conclusion, the benefits of open science are not limited to the scientific community or researchers only, but to every member of the society. Hence, every stage of the research process should be transparent, reliable, reusable, reproducible, and relevant. Thank you for your attention.
Is it okay? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, I have to tiptoe a bit, but it's fine. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Godwin, for sharing your perspective from the student point of view. And on this slide, I would like to offer you a very practical guide, like 6 steps how to open up your research if your interest is evoked and stimulated by this session. Use and cite existing public data, share your research data, also your metadata, release the code, free copies of research articles, post preprints of your research, and when possible, choose an open access journal. And I would like to make a very important footnote here, is that open science does not mean that you have to make everything open. As open as possible, as closed as necessary. Okay, that is the main rule set up by the European Commission, but please be as open as possible. And I don't know whether we have endurance for a last Slido, please. Okay, thank you. So let me activate this last Slido. Please think about open science in one word, okay? So just, and please omit open, okay? Let's aim for something else. So what is open science for you? It is interesting, exciting, no way, worth considering. That's actually 2 words, but you can use 2 words. Inclusive, chance, fairness, innovative. I'm very happy to see these words. Connections, intriguing, communication, important. So all positive things. I'm very, very happy to see that, and I really do hope connections, important connections, get more connections, communications, important, intriguing, inclusive, innovative, fairness, interesting, sharing with society, chance, engaging. Thank you very much for this very positive feedback on behalf of Open Science. And I would also, yeah, I'm waiting for the photo. Okay. So, thank you very much for, let's see where, yeah, that's my slide. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that I managed to give you like a teaser to evoke your interest and appetite for open science. And this is my contact information. If you are a BME researcher, please feel free to contact me. And also, please feel free to contact Esteban if you want to join the open science community. And remember that open science is about trust, cooperation, and a systematic sharing of your research. Thank you very much for your attention.